Worldwide movement. Peace, love, respect. Big King Sadiq hollering at you one more again. Man, catching you on a beautiful spring day. It's a little windy, but certainly beautiful and glad it's spring. Still a little chilly, but the hot weather's on the way, and I'm sure parts of the country and certainly parts of the world are getting that already. All right, man. Wonderful to see you all. To see that you all are checking this out. We're continuing to do what? To build the worldwide movement. Peace, love, respect. Thank you all. I truly appreciate you all. I love you all. And we're doing this, man. We have come to the 10th installment of the 10-part series. So we're concluding this. The 10-part series, What We Are, in which we attempted to do just that, to describe in a very uh, segmented and detailed manner, right? Exactly what we are in our wonderful, magnificent, multifaceted, multidimensional selves. All right. Um, so let's talk a little bit about what we have done and give just a brief recap. So we started out with an overview, right? And introducing folks to some basic concepts. You know, the fact that all things in existence are in motion. If you might notice, some of the limbs on the trees behind me are in motion right now from the wind blowing. Uh, but at a much more minute level, all things are in constant motion, right? Down to the neutrino level, uh, uh, we see that particles and everything exists in both particle and wave form simultaneously, are always in motion, right? Always in some vibrational frequency. It is warming out a little bit now that the sun's popping out. That's beautiful. So yeah, we have that, and we gave an introduction to concepts like that to get us warmed up to this topic a little bit, or the many topics that we were covering in this series. We talked about the human body and gave a little bit of an introduction to uh, the body's energy system, right? And actually subsystems to the overall energy system of the body, and then gave in a sort of a little intro to the chakra system. Then we went in and started to talk about human DNA, right, and how fascinating that is, and how it actually has multi-dimensional aspects. Right? Did you know that your DNA has been scientifically proven to hold some multi-dimensional aspects? Right? Um, we talked a little bit about the quantum field, right? And dimensionality a little bit, right? And understanding that all things, excuse me, at least on a subtle energetic level, are connected. Everything, everything in existence, at least at the more subtle energetic levels, is connected. Um, and we started to talk about the actual quantum field that connects everything, right? The energetic field that connects everything, and how we interact with that and impact it and influence, uh, and in some ways direct the quantum field. Um, and we did so by leaning on different disciplines, physics, metaphysics. We started to get into quantum physics, which holds its own set of disciplines like quantum biology, quantum mechanics, etc. Um, we talked, or I talked, and enjoyed your folks' comments certainly about the difference between two different ways of manifesting, right? Electromagnetic manifesting, which is what, excuse me, I think we're probably most familiar with, being electromagnetic beings, and that much of our interaction with our environment is at that level, right? But I also talked about the difference between that and purely magnetic manifestation, which we are capable of as well. Then we revisited the chakra system in a little bit more detail, and in doing so, also started to introduce the auric body system, your aura system, your auric system, and how the two relate and are interactive with one another and the human body and your consciousness, and how all of this has multidimensional aspects to it as well, right? Um, then we talked about the interesting way that the human body houses intelligence in more than just your brain, right? We talked about the intelligence of your heart center, many people refer to, and your gut, right? Actual intelligence in your stomach and in your gut area, um, and got into the science of that a little bit. Then we talked about the innate system, which was appropriate because the innate system certainly is the sort of intelligence overlay of your body, right? Um, some people refer to it as the smart body. I kind of try to get away from that a little bit, but um, yeah, the innate coordinates and interacts with and directs intelligence and communication between all of your cells, right? Um, of your body, and the various intelligence centers in your body that I touched on briefly there, um, in the description. And also we move from that to talk about very important thing to understand: our pineal organ, right? Not your pineal gland, your pineal organ. And went into detail about that and its multidimensional nature, and the many incredible applications and ways in which our pineal organ is a very much key part of our awakening, right? In our entire existential experience. And then that brings us up to now. In number 10, we just went through a brief little recap. Now, the whole point of all those videos, folks, quite simply, is really to show you in a multitude of ways to enable you to further wrap your head around just exactly how magnificent you really are. Because unfortunately, we live in a world where the socially economic elite have linear systems in place within every single institution that affects our lives to keep us shrunken down and really totally aware of, while we're continuously divided and distracted, uh, never really getting to appreciate, understand, or again, even really know of the true magnificence of your existence, of what the human being actually is. Hence the name of the series, What We Are, right? So the whole purpose of these videos has been to get you to see the magnificent, incredible, um, because of our indoctrination and its multi layers, unbelievable, and incredible things about the human body that we were able to point out in these videos that are things that you can research yourself to look into and verify and check into the scientific veracity of the information that we have presented to you. All right. So, um, and I say we because, everything that I do, folks, I hope you know that this is an interactive experience, right? Not only your comments and questions, but just your energy and your participation and you lending your consciousness to this experience makes it multidimensionally interactive for all of us and certainly for me. So that gives you a little bit of context and why I say we. All right. But that gets us to what is the most important part of all of this, right? Of this process, because I do look at it as a process of us stripping away those layers of indoctrination that have shrunken us, right? That have made us feel weak and vulnerable, that have made us be beings that are capable of being subjugated and controlled in the ways that we have for so long, for far too long, and no more. No more. But it gets us to the most important thing, which is to understand your divinity, huh? Understand your true magnificence, folks. Throughout these videos and the other videos that I've made, I talk about multidimensionality a lot. And I try to get you to understand that we are multidimensional beings. Now, to back that up a little, just back up on that a little bit. I try to first get you to wrap your head around the fact that our existence is multidimensional. And what we have previously tended to refer to as the veil, right, is that dimensional threshold that I've described previously. When I say previously, I mean in these videos and others. Between us in this stage of existence in which we're at, or this level of dimensionality, which is a 3D, 4D dimensional existence, right? Third dimensional, fourth dimensional existence. We have the three dimensions of width, space, height, and the added fourth dimension of time. And then all the the plethora of implications that go within the vibrational frequency thresholds of each of those dimensions, right? Okay. But we don't go to anywhere beyond that fourth dimensional threshold unless we begin to ascend that threshold and claim our true multidimensionality. And I try to get us to understand that that is where we start to peek our head through the veil into spirituality, right? Which is multidimensional uh, without perceived end. All right. Scientists are often asked how many dimensions are there, and any scientist, physicist, um, anyone of them being truly honest will simply say we don't know. Because every time we say there's a certain amount of dimensions, we later find out that there's more and that it is only our true limitations in perception and where we're at in our development, and certainly our level of consciousness that prohibits us from understanding more about multidimensionality or spirituality, if we want to, excuse me, if we want to start to make the two at least somewhat synonymous, right? So once we can wrap our head around those things, and once we have a pretty solid understanding of who we are, how truly magnificent we are, and how many different aspects of us, excuse me, are indeed and in fact multidimensional, right? All right. Now, why is that? Why is so much of us of this multidimensional nature? All right. Because, folks, our true existence, which many of you perceive this and understand it in different ways, and may have different takes on it given your religious perspective, and that's fine, folks. We got to open our minds up where that these small differences, or you believe this and you believe that, don't shut us down from talking about these things with one another, right? From sharing with one another so that we can better understand together. I mean, isn't let's take the ego out of it. It's not about me shining or you shining or me being better or more knowledgeable than you or vice versa. It's about all of us getting to a higher vibrational frequency resonance in terms of our existential experience here on this beautiful planet. It's about us no longer being stunted in our DNA's full expression, stunted in 30 something, or so percentage, but increasing that drastically en route to 100% DNA efficacy. And in general, it's about on this planet us evolving into a higher consciousness, which most certainly includes and in fact hinges upon our higher sense of spirituality. Again, we don't have to convert one another, right? All we have to do is have enough compassion for one another, patience and understanding, tolerance enough to just listen to one another and build on the many, 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 many common areas that we have. I don't proclaim myself to be a theologian, but certainly have done a great deal of study in theology and have experienced several of the world's major religions, right, through practice. And I can tell you, we have far more in common than folks have to differ. It is the aim of the socially economic elite of this planet to keep you divided and distracted by focusing on those few differences, so much so that we get conflictive and even violent and dangerous behind these concepts, when really they should be common ground for us to be more united. Huh? All right. So when I say the connection, I'm hoping that at this point you're able to see yourself, at least to some degree, as a multidimensional being. We have, in different little areas throughout these videos, and certainly other videos of mine, talked about the fact that human beings are made up of matter and energy and consciousness. None of those things, folks, as far as we are aware of in our 3D, 4D state, can be destroyed. So that means in our 3D, 4D reality, we are made up of things that are indestructible and essentially immortal. Huh? And we understand and have talked about through the course of these videos in this 10-part series our multidimensionality in many different ways and aspects of who and what we are. Huh? We've identified that spirituality is multidimensionality. To some degree, the two can be synonymous, to some degree. You exist multidimensionally, excuse me. You exist spiritually. I talked some about fractalization, which is incredibly important for this part of sort of culminizing everything and cognizing the journey. When I say cognize, I mean truly understand to the point that you are able to grasp beyond the requisite of belief based on 3D, 4D linear sets of proof or evidence. Right? You know it. So, given our multidimensionality, our spiritual nature, we need to understand that in fractionality, we are fractals of the creative source. Huh? I talked a short bit about how a fractal is like within a complex picture, one of the sort of jigsaw pieces to the puzzle that is much more minute than the totality of the puzzle or the big picture. But when you examine it, is an exact replication or an exact image of the big picture itself, of which it is a part of. That's what it means to be a fractal. We are fractals of the creative source. Huh? Our spiritual essence is directly a part of the creative source. Your higher self, your highest self, meaning if you go as high as we can go in dimensionality, you ultimately return to the source, of which all is a part of anyway. But in this state, this 3D, 4D linearity, we experience the perception of individuality. We are individual expressions of source energy. Huh? Okay. Hold up, Big King. Now you getting a little, yeah, we getting deep because we're deep. Understand what we are, folks. The highest aspect of you is of source, is of your creator. Your consciousness, your soul, your spirit, all of that is from the creator. All of that is directly from the creator, directly from source. Huh? Thank you, family. Listen, nature will talk to you and will concur. Gaia is directly from source. Huh? The spirit of this planet, of which this planet is the physical manifestation of the Gaia spirit energy. Huh? In 3D, 4D linearity, just as your physical body or your vessel is your expression of your spiritual self, your multidimensional self from source, from the creator. Folks, you are far, far, you are much more than what we are taught. So much more. So much more. Pardon me. It's getting a little windy. So, well, it's been a little windy and chilly, but we've got to get to the point here where we understand that this is not just an accident of particles combining in this explosion, the Big Bang, and folks. No matter what theory of how it all started you are given from any scientific community or school of thought, etc., it will all come back to a source that always was and always will be. Big Bang. Well, where did those original particles in the come from? Where did the energy from the bang come from? Where did the beginnings of the Big Bang start from? Where? And when you delve a little deeper, you realize that's not even the only bang, but whole no, whole nother set of information there, folks. I need to get across to you, and I need for you to understand when you look in the mirror, you are not looking at something frail, weak. You're not looking at something dirty, dastardly, or unworthy. Folks, it takes courage to make the decision, and you made the decision at the spiritual level, at the multidimensional level, to incarnate into your physical vessel. Now, you can call that esoteric information or whatever you want. Some of this, you got to feel it to understand what I mean. Huh? Some of this, you will have to feel it and know it from within. You come here by choice and with purpose. You incarnate into these beautiful, multidimensional divine vessels. Huh? Folks, you're walking around at only about 30% of what you are. Is it really? Is it really that unfathomable when you start to imagine what could I be at 50, 60, 70, 80% of what I should be, of what is within my DNA? Huh? Isn't that your heritage to claim? I consider it to be mine. Again, as with this entire 10-part series, all of my videos, my books, videos, and my music, anything from me, excuse me, or anyone else, go and check into it for yourself. Come back and holler at me. Tell me what you find and what your opinion is. I'd love to discuss it with you and have gone through that process with many people. That's how I know for sure and can tell you without question the masses of people who are waking up despite what you get from the multimedia sources. Huh? Folks, you are here for and with purpose, divine spiritual purpose. So now we get to the good part. Who sent you? Where'd I say you come from? Huh? Source. Directly from the creative source, from your creator. That's who sent you. Huh? To spiritually mature in ways that a spiritual being does not perceive or ever experience in the vulnerability of 3D, 4D existence. The myriad of ways that you are signing up to become vulnerable when you make the decision, when you volunteer to incarnate into physicality. The myriad of ways that you are vulnerable, a spiritual being will never experience that as a spiritual being unless they incarnate. And it is through that process that you indeed experience, learn, grow, and mature spiritually. That's what you do here, individually and collectively as a species. And that's what we've been doing. And now it's time to grow up. Now it's time to breach that threshold because we have matured finally just enough to have earned our way into the next step, the next stage of our evolution, which is higher consciousness on this planet. Huh? You have earned that. So how do you get it? You get it by connecting with you get it by tagging back to home base. Huh? Check back in. You do it by checking back in with who sent you. And guess what? It's easier than picking up your celly. Because the connection is within. When they look at your DNA in the microscope, under powerful microscopes, huh? They can see that there are multidimensional aspects that they don't quite have the equipment yet to fully be able to examine even, but they can tell it's there. They can tell us something more than 3D, 4D. It's multidimensional. Or it's what? It's spiritual. Huh? You are what? Multidimensional. You are a spiritual being incarnated physically in your corporeal physical vessel. And within the DNA of that multidimensional vessel is your spirituality, is your true spirituality, is your true connection to source, is your creator in your creator is within you, in your very DNA. That's where you come from, huh? You get clues to. I said this in the previous video. We got clues to it throughout every belief system throughout that we've had throughout time. You know, you get religious, excuse me, phrases like "created in His image," created in our own image, in which that actually can refer to something else. But the concept is there, right? I ain't trying to give no Anunnaki hype right now, right? But the point is, and that's when you folks, when you peel back the layers and the deeper you get. Since I brought up the Anunnaki, do you know that one of their infights, and I believe Brother Billy Carson talked about this, one of their infights was that they led on to some of us that we were capable and had the potential to be greater than them. Why do you think they saw that, folks? What do you think they were referring to? Could it be the fact that you have divinity within you? That you are a spiritual, multi-dimensional being having a 3D, 4D experience for the purpose of spiritual maturation right now? And that this species of human beings collectively is having such an experience and now has gained enough spiritual maturation to go to the next level, to evolve to higher consciousness on the planet, a higher consciousness that subsequently will bring you to a state in which you will no longer be subjugated by socially economic elite or anyone or anything else for that matter. Huh? Do you hear me? You are magnificent. And if you don't believe that yet, you got more learning to do about you. Huh? We're here for a reason, folks. And it's all coming to a head now. The end of the Mayan calendars and all the different things that pointed to an end, we're talking about an end to all that held you back. Huh? No more. It's time to ascend and be your best selves to live your best life. By the way, that is the title of my book. I had to give a shameless little plug right there. Please go get the new book, folks. Ascension Path, Best Self, Best Life is now available on Amazon. And certainly, I'm going to be developing a site that I'm going to offer all my books, my videos, my music, lectures, interviews, and everything on that site. Very soon to come. But seriously, folks, we got to get it. And the only way to get it is to reach deep within and make that connection to who sent you here in the first place. And really, it's deeper than that, because it's about that one thing that we keep finding ourselves so unwilling to talk about. It's about love, folks. And I've made a video talking about the fact that that is the most powerful force in existence. And when you tap into true unconditional love, that's when you're getting back into tapping in the source. So you got to learn what that is, that unconditional love, not the conditional love that we've been taught, right? And that we've sort of adapted through the years. Read my first book, Peace, Love, Respect, This is the New Way, and I'll break all that down for you. Folks, your creator loves you more than you can fathom. The closest thing that we ever understand or experience to our creator's love or how the creator looks at us is when those proud parents take that first view of that newborn baby that they got there, huh? And that baby looks up at them, and it's a family, huh? Do you understand? Do you know that when you got man, woman, and child, that creates a whole new energy in itself? That there is a synergy that is created, folks. Woo! I'm trying to tell you something special. Each and every one of you, I don't care what title or what thing they have put on us to separate and divide us. They made it all up, huh? They made up black and white. They made up racism. They made up these economic classism and elitism and all these different isms and sexism and all. They created all this stuff to keep you distracted and divided so that you're not thinking about things that would teach you about you or give you the opportunity to learn about you and say, hold up, wait a minute. Things ain't working right on this planet. We should be living in cyclical systems, huh? In a world paradigm of peace, love, respect that works for the betterment of everybody. We have the wherewithal within ourselves, and I can get on this platform, this soapbox for too long, but we have the wherewithal for every human being born on this planet to be guaranteed food, clothing, shelter, and access to free energy. There's going to come a time on this planet we're going to look back like, huh? It took us that long to get that widespread. Why were we fighting ourselves, holding ourselves back from our magnificence collectively? Folks, it's the connection. Pardon me. I'm gonna get ready to get in here because it's getting more winter like than spring like. But seriously, folks, it's the connection. You got to make it. You got to reach with the emotion of your heart, huh? The energy that your heart center builds up with that true love. You got to reach that inward and realize your creator loves you a million times more. And when you reach out to the creator within, you're going to find this back at you. Now, that much I'm telling you from experience. Huh? All right, folks. Make the connection. Realize your magnificence. Don't let anything hold you back from ascending to being your best self and living your best life. I love you all. Worldwide movement, peace, love, respect. Big King Sadiq. Give yourselves a round of applause just for being magnificent. Huh? I love you all. Peace, love, respect. I'm out.